okay Phil, this is the one. And I still remember how excited he was, but unfortunately.
They actually opened the house only to test the market.
Like, please.
We even did a boomerang like,
we did a boomerang.
We were like,
Why we can't fly?
Hey guys, Firdaus here, and we are back here with another testimonial video. And right now with me I have a very special guest. I've been wanting to get them for this interview for many months, but only now I can get them from my client having hair. You know. But anyway, with me here is Haiqal and Naia. Okay, so they are my clients who actually bought a place sometime last year. And now they have moved into this new house, this beautiful house. They've renovated this place. So today I'm gonna interview them, gonna let them share with you their experience throughout the whole process, what they went through. I think they have interesting stories to share. So yeah.
I'm currently working at Universal Studios Singapore.
For those of you who are in the entertainment industry, I think this is something that you might be interested in. Okay, let's start off with the first question. How did we know each other?
So Phil's wife is last time was one of my dance crewmate. So from her IG I saw that her lovely husband he's doing real estate stuff, and at that point of time one of his clients was Mastura, one of our close friends also.
Mas and his wife.
Yeah. So then from then we just decided to, why don't we ask Yanni's husband to do it for us lah. So I just proposed her that time, and then we like plan to be married the same year lah, which is last year, and get a house by then also lah, which we were aiming like at that point of time like towards the end of the year. So when we meet up, he explained to us, like, I had a lot of questions because I do have friends that already have their own houses, but you don't really know the details of it. Like you somehow like need to know, especially from like an agent, because they like, you know, they learn everything and they can explain to us. So the thing that I was most concerned was actually, is my CPF enough to buy a house? Because at that point of time it was my second year working full time, and this was like my first ever full time job, and it was for 2 years only. So I was a bit scared lah, like my CPF won't be enough. Like unlike her lah, she been working in her company for quite a while lah.
You've worked longer than Haiqal.
Yeah, I've been full time for longer. So
longer time, right?
But he was worried about his lah, cause before this he was freelance all the way. So
Our initial plan was to get a house that was like ready to move in. It's a move-in condition.
Correct.
Move-in condition. So like we don't really have to think much about renovation. Then like, you know, get the timeline right lah, to be like within the year to get the house lah. BTO, like for me personally, a bit small lah. And like for me lah, I might be wrong, but generally the layout is very similar. Very similar. Correct. So for resale, like you can really get, like they can give you like 94 square feet or whatsoever, but like how they arrange the layout of the house itself, like especially for this house, it's a corner unit, so it has a weird shape, but because of that weird shape, it looks spacious.
To put a better comparison, so for BTO layout about 92 square meter, they got a 105 square meter. So I think that's one of the reasons why they go into resale, because they prefer bigger space. Okay, so let's go into our first meetup. So what exactly did I go to? Do you remember?
I think it was about the HLE thing, like checking our CPF, then the grants that are available for us, especially the proximity grant.
Proximity grant, family, and enhanced housing grant.
Enhanced housing grant.
Those grants are. And then I think I explained to you more on the timeline, because it was your first house.
At that time we were worried about timeline also because of our wedding. So that time we were also worried about like how long it takes for each step to do the process. So you also explained that to us.
And at that point of time also, we didn't expect the timeline to drag because of COVID. So I think that's the worry that's the concern for a lot of people when they bought a house last year lah. But I think you entered the market at a good time.
I feel so, because I keep telling her we are so lucky that we decided to get a house, because I think there was definitely a few months before circuit breaker happened and all of that.
Before I came over, I checked briefly on your house. I think this house itself, the expected valuation is about 60,000 higher than what you bought.
Now, currently.
Now,
Wow.
in just 1 year,
Right.
the market value of this house increased by 60k. Yeah. But anyway, let's go into the stage where we are finding a house, the viewing. I think you have a few things to share. Okay, so just to give a bit of context. Okay, so before we get this house, before we view this house, we had we shortlisted two units before this, not concurrently, one after another, but we shortlisted 2 units, but something happened which led us to this unit eventually. But I think you want to share a bit more, like what happened or how's the viewing process.
We keep looking for high floor unit.
Yeah.
So like the previous one was actually high floor unit.
Yeah.
So the first time we came, oh, nice house, 5 room.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, good, okay, go.
Yeah.
Go. Then after that, they asked for like extra COV by what?
There was COV, I think about 5, maybe about 10.
Then we were trying to go for it, but then I guess the agent like one-to-one only want to reply.
Very not responsive.
That case was quite annoying because we are very keen with the unit. But you see, we are very interested with the unit, but the seller or maybe the agent not as interested to sell the house. Yeah, so in terms of price negotiation, they didn't get back to us. We gave an offer, but the seller side didn't get back to us. No response, no answer to the calls. Yeah. Then so the agent somehow had other businesses as well.
Yeah.
Let's not go into that.
So when Phil told us like the agent is not responding, blah blah, then we like back to square one.
Yeah. Then it didn't seem like the seller actually very serious to sell. So then we just forgo that unit lah. Then we land on to the second one.
So this unit was like, I think one of the most ideal unit for us lah, because literally like once you go down from that unit at the under the block, the MRT station is really like 10 steps away. 10 steps away just to go to the MRT. So we were quite keen, like location was great, it had a great view, was I think on the 10th floor if I'm not wrong. It was on the 10th floor. Then it was like a corner unit also. So like you can vastly see everything like around it. So we like, okay Phil, this is the one. And I still remember how excited he was because of that previous case. He was like, really, okay, let's go, let's do this.
And it was very fast. It was always like right after the viewing downstairs.
We offered, right?
We immediately once we came down, we were like, okay, let's go. Both cases was like that.
Yeah, because I remember you were checking, like straight away, like checking valuation is this. Then explain to us like, so around this house, around this area, the housing is this price. This is what you can expect for the valuation, blah 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 blah. So we're like, okay, you know what? Let's go for it. Like our budget allows it, so we like, let's go for it. But unfortunately,
so unfortunately, the sellers were also not serious in selling. They actually opened the house only to test the market.
Yeah, for your information, we were the 10th viewers.
The
and
10th victim.
10 victims. Not 10 viewers. Then like, so I think their agent mentioned about they have some more people coming in to look at this some more.
Yeah, it was pressurizing because when we know there are more buyers coming in, then of course we wouldn't want our offer to to drown. But then when we found out like maybe they are just testing the market, testing the price, because their buying side still not settled yet. Still not settled yet. So they actually have quite some time away to actually lock their house lah. So so when that didn't happen, back to square one.
So like from the first house that we wanted to deal with, right, I actually saw this house on the listing already, but the photos all not quite convincing lah. I still remember this was the very last house that we built after we built around the area. So I was telling her like when cause we feel we send like the listing that we are keen. Then he will also like send out some more of the listing that like that you know that incorporate what we wanted lah for a unit. So once is this like okay lah, this one last lah. If this one still not it, then it's okay. We try again because I remember it was quite like for me I feel like it was quite a long viewing process.
It was.
Yeah, then we viewed quite a few houses.
Mainly because of the units that didn't go through lah. If not, we could have shortened it. Yeah. But it was quite a long viewing. I remember both of you actually quite tired already.
Yeah, that's why this last unit like please.
We even did a boomerang like
we did a boomerang. Why we can't find.
Yes, I remember we took a boomerang this one evening, one night. My wife for us and we were so depressed already. Like, when can we get? So then we land on this unit and then we viewed. I think seems okay. Of course, initially you wanted high floor, but then we got this unit.
The only time we were in this house before completion was when we view it.
Yes.
Then the next time we were in this house was when
we got the keys.
Even
key handover, then we get to it.
Okay, let's dive into that. Let's dive into that. Okay, the reason why I want them to be on this video is because I will say this is one of my most memorable cases dealing with another agent. Okay, let's put it as that. So I think when we completed this whole process, when they got the keys, it felt like a huge relief.
Yeah, it was really like we felt a bit bad for him because like he's going through like the middleman stuff and dealing the pressure. Then like we also don't want to pressure him, you know.
And of course, I remember throughout the whole process, they were, which is something that if I'm in their position, will feel the same way, agitated with that side. But me as a middle person, I can't show until they say, Phil, you're not angry, man.
Really?
I say, I am.
Are you sure you're not angry?
So okay, let's dissect the whole thing. I think there were few encounters. When we optioned this unit, it was at a certain price. And of course, back then when we optioned this unit, COV wasn't too common. It wasn't as common as now. You know, now in general, where we are at right now, about 80-90% there will be COV. But back then it wasn't as high or as bad as this lah. So when we logged in the house at a certain price, and then valuation came out, there was 10k COV.
Yes, 10k COV.
Yeah, there was 10k COV. And then of course I renegotiate back with the seller or with the agent. It was quite difficult to get the seller to bring down to 390, and of course their defense is, we should have prepared the COV and stuff like that, but actually based on the recently transacted, it was justified on the price that we logged in. But unfortunately we had COV. When we revised the price, the other side said can just submit by just amending the OTP. If you remember right, so it's just cancel out, revise the price,
and just send
it. So I advise you that we cannot do that, and I advise the other party we cannot do that, but they insisted.
And we tried.
Then we okay, fine, you know, we gave in, we tried, but eventually didn't happen. HDB rejected it. So when all of that happened, what do you remember what the agent told me?
You're just not lucky lah.
Like
how? You're just not lucky enough to experience it lah.
So what they said is this, or what the other party said is this: nothing is impossible. You are just unlucky enough not to experience this.
So we're not lucky enough to go under table lah.
Under table lah. Because from my perspective, it looks like an under table stuff, you know, like which is I don't think it's the right way lah, you know, especially in this time and era in Singapore where you know all this under table stuff is like not condoned and anything. That's why it was quite surprising for us. Like, oh shit,
can they?
Yeah, really.
So when we log in and then we had to open up a new OTP, we had to open up new valuation. I think there were a few things that the agent or the seller side insisted on doing, but I said no, this is the right way. We have to proceed with this. So eventually they followed with what I advised them to do. Initially we had 2 months extension. So after we had all this bad experience, they asked for another month extension.
Another month extension. Which we like cannot be lah because like it's already within. We agreed to that timeline. It's been signed and everything. So they asked for then of course like you can only tolerate so much, you know. You can only tolerate so much. We can like give in so much. Like but like to think about it, we actually giving quite a lot to them. We giving quite a lot to them.
During the extension, I think there was also a concern. Right after completion, there was a concern of property tax and conservancy.
Oh yes, because we at that point in time we weren't sure like since it's our house, is it we have to pay for them or is it because they are still staying there, they still have to pay to us? Because I think the process was like we pay first and they will refund us back or something like that.
So there was a bit of disagreement on that, but eventually that we had to compromise a bit also. But for everyone's info out there, so basically when you have extension, normally the seller and buyer would have agreed on this beforehand and should honour this agreement. And normally it is common that the seller will be the one paying the property tax and conservancy because they are still staying there. It's just that rental is not something that we actually charge seller because in the first place we can't rent out the place after you complete because it's still doing MOP. We call it compensation if there is. So I think there's a bit of disagreement or dispute there, but we handle that accordingly. Now the last thing, no site visit. Yes.
So as new homeowners, obviously after completion you want to take a look at your house and like do your planning for renovations and
take some measurements
and all.
So especially when you need to see the house for quotation and stuff.
Exactly. So I would it's not even a request, I feel like it's a rule. They just like lash out a rule that mention like, oh, you want to come? Sure, but only 2 person for 15 minutes, no talking, no touching of the stuff,
you
no
must wear gloves and socks
And
there's so many rules they give us.
Which we find like ridiculous. I like 15 minutes, want to do what?
Correct. They were very patient enough, which is something that I have to commend them also.
Very patient.
They were very patient. The handover of keys was done privately between me and the other party's agent. And then I met them separately lah. I think we came together.
We took picture at this spot, bro.
We came together at night after their work. They said, "Are you ready?"
Ready.
Finally, we get to see you again.
After
After months.
6 months, close to 6 months.
It's like we don't even know what we paid for.
I think slightly plus extension plus the delay.
Oh
slightly longer than that.
So by then we forgot what the house looked like.
Like we like it's like this, right? It should be like this lah.
Any words or any comments, feedbacks about my end, about how I helped you or assisted you throughout the whole process?
Mainly we were very impressed by how patient and really patience lah dealing with this case. There were so many hurdles and problems, and also initially throughout the whole process he was very clear in explaining the processes that's needed, the paperwork and everything, like what do we need to give him, like any information that we lack. He's very prompt to assist us with that, and that part we were really very impressed and very thankful for lah. I don't even know if we can afford it or how we can afford it. So that when you explain all the money wise, that was very helpful lah.
I think money is something that is very important for you to know. Because you need to know your budget and how much cash you are forking out. I think these are the main ones. Okay, so with that being said, for anyone out there, will you recommend me to serve them? Definitely. Yeah.
Of course.
Okay, but let's wrap this up. You have anything else you like to share or say? Maybe you have any tips or advice for anyone out there who's on the verge of buying resale, buying BTO, or to get in touch with an agent or not? Anything that you like to say? Final words. Yeah.
For us, finding an agent was helpful lah. Cause one thing we didn't have the knowledge, and also we didn't have the time really to, research and download all the forms and know what to write. Like we would have been very lost. So I think for us, choosing an agent was the smart choice lah.
Yeah.
And for me, if about BTO and resale, I feel like you really need to think more on the long run rather than like, I want this unit because this is here. Like maybe some units like you can have this unit and in future there's something even better coming on there. So like your own research and of course with the help of an agent, it will really help you a lot in your decision making.
Okay, nice. So yeah, to those of you out there who are clueless with the process as well, when you are buying your first house, you can always get in touch with me at 9459-366, or you can also PM me directly. So anyway, thank you so much for having me over after many months. Many months finally, but really, thank you so much for having me here. And yeah, so anything you can just let me know, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Firdaus here, signing off.